Skinny Hardaway Southern T. Back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I greatly appreciate you sliding through. If this your first time, do your boy a solid. Don't make it your last time. Hit that subscription button as well. We talk this good MMA, boxing, sports, parlays, predictions every single day, not just today. And today, we here with a three-part EP, right? Three-part MMA EP, right? We're going to do Dana White Contender Series. We're going to open up with the Dana White Contender Series Week 10 predictions. And then we're going to segue that into the PFL predictions. And then we're going to segue that into the UFC predictions, right? So I'm not going to waste too much more of y'all time. Let's go ahead and get started with the Dana White Contender Series Week 10 predictions, right? And we got Minga versus Schultz. I hope I'm not butchering his name in that first fight. I'm going to go with Schultz. I think this is going to be a wrestler-grappler kind of fight, right? You got Minga, who is the, submission grappler guy. Then you got Wes Schultz, who is the wrestler, ground and pound guy. Has submission in his arsenal as well, right? But in this fight, he's more so wrestler-based. And I think he's going to be able to use his wrestling to get this win over Minga. Control him, possibly stop him. Wes Schultz money line is minus 180. And I'm going to just take that money line there, minus 180. Wes Schultz for the win. Medium to high confidence. All right, next fight, we got TWTea versus Lika. I was a little back and forth with this fight, right? But ultimately, I ended up going with Lika. This is going to be a grappler, wrestler versus a striker. And Lika is going to want to use his boxing. TWTea is going to want to get this to the ground where he has the advantage. I think TWTea may have a big advantage on the ground, where I think Lika has a sizable advantage on the feet. Lika is his boxing, especially for a heavyweight, right? Mainly only for a heavyweight, right? His boxing is pretty slick. You know what I mean? He's going to be the bigger guy, and he's going to have, I think, a slight speed, not even slight. He's going to have a big speed advantage, a slight athleticism advantage, right, in this fight with TWTea. But if TWTea can land those takedowns, because Lika ground game is, a question mark, then he's going to win this fight. If TWTea can get the takedowns, he wins. If it's standing, if Lika could stop some takedowns, he's a big boy, 6'5". I'm going to say that he can, right? I think Lika wins, and Lika probably wins by knockout. All right, we got Oliveira versus Valenzuela. And you can pretty much bet anytime you get an Oliveira versus a Valenzuela, you're going to get a damn good fight. I expect this to be a damn good fight. This is going to be a striking battle. I'm expecting somebody to get knocked out. I'm going to go with Oliveira in this, right, as the favorite, right, for the win. I think he's the cleaner, crisper striker. He may not be the more powerful one-punch, one-strike striker, but I do think he's the better overall striker. In this, Valenzuela is dangerous, though. Oliveira for the win, possible knockout, medium to low confidence pick. I'm going to try to keep this one short and sweet, right? We got Rahiki versus Malumbo. Both of these guys are going to strike. I think Rahiki is the more technical, more polished striker. He's going to have size advantage, range advantage. I think he's going to have a power advantage. Malumbo is a tough, greedy guy. I think Rahiki knocks Malumbo out. This fight isn't going the distance. Rahiki for the win, high confidence. Next fight, my bad. Next fight, we got Juan versus Diaz. I'm a bit up in the air about this one. I think this fight goes distance for sure. I'm going to go with Quan. He has the size advantage in this. Neither of these guys are just great at one thing. They're pretty good at, all things, right? They're okay at all things. Neither is great at anything. I'm going to go with Quan, size advantage, right? Think he'll be able to, use his range. Think he's the slightly better grappler as well, right? Quan for the win. Mostly just the size advantage I'm going with here. Low confidence. In the main event, we got Vidal versus Rodriguez. I think this is going to be wrestler versus striker. Rodriguez being the striker, Vidal being the grappler. The winner of this fight is going to be who can implement their game play the best. I'm unimpressed with Vidal. Don't know much about Rodriguez. I think they both lose. No, I'm just playing. This probably be a dog or pass for me, right? Maybe Rodriguez knocks Vidal out. Maybe Vidal could just lay on him and be boring. I'm not betting on Vidal again after the last performance that he had, right? did absolutely nothing up until the end of the fight, and he got the submission. Can't put my money on that. I guess I'll go with Vidal as the underdog at this point, right? But probably not going to bet that fight. Vidal, extremely low confidence. All right, just to give y'all a recap of what I just said. Oliveira for the win. Freaky Rahiki won. Probably not going to bet that fight. Vidal with the dog pick. Lika, Schultz. My parlay, right? I like Freaky Rahiki. I like Oliveira. I like Lika and North Thailand fight to not go the distance. And then I like Vidal Rodriguez not to go the distance as well. All right, moving on along. In this next section, we going to talk about the PFL Africa 3, PFL Rwanda, maybe the R salad, I don't know. I guess since I'm African-American, I should do a little better with these people. No, I'm just joking. But let's go and get into this PFL card. PFL Africa 3. PFL Africa 2, I had a lot of dogs, that hit. So let's try to, get the same kind of value out of this card that we got out the PFL Africa 2. And I might not necessarily do this card in exact order, right? But I'm going to go through every fight on this card, right? Just to let y'all know. So not exact order, but every fight. Let's get right. All right, we're going to start with the main event. We got Ochimi versus Sakara. I picked Sakara as a dog in this last fight, right? He's probably going to be a dog in this fight. I think it's going to be a pretty good fight, stand-up fight, right? I want to go Ochimi, right? But something about Sakara striking, has me a little nervous, right? I think that fight goes the distance. I'm going to lean Ochimi, right? Low confidence, Sakara, it's just something about him. But if I had to pick, I'm going to pick Ochimi. We got it's either the belly, right, or in the belly versus Hokanya, right? I'm going to go with in the belly in that fight. I think it's going to be Hokanya is going to want to get him down. The belly is the much slicker striker, right? Faster guy. I think he'll be able to keep that fight on the outside in the belly for the win. We got Esperaka versus Octave, right? I think Esperaka is just the better all-around MMA guy. Both these guys are pretty athletic, pretty powerful, right? I think Octave is only power and athleticism, while Esperaka, right, has more than that in his bag. I think he could probably finish this fight, knockout or submission, right? Not to make Octave sound bad, right? I just, rate Esperaka, kind of high, right? So Esperaka in that fight over Octave, I think it's going to be a great fight because Octave can fight his ass off. And I got Nene for the win over Justin Clark. Justin Clark, really robotic, really blocky. Nene is probably going to win the tournament. Maybe him Babley, right? Fight for the championship, right? But Nene for the win. Pretty high confidence on Nene. Takes him down, grounds and pound. All right, next fight, we got Babley versus Jaffe Holton, right? I'm going to go with Babley in this. Babley is probably the better wrestler of the two. Babley, he can strike as well. He's giving up some size in this division, but what he lacks in size, he makes up for in power and relentlessness, right? And he does have the gas tank, right, to fight the rounds. I think he can win this fight, by knockout or on the ground, ground and pound, maybe even submission, right? But Babley for the win. Holton has a chance because of his size, but Babley has shown us, a few times that, he can neutralize size. All right, this next fight, we got Go Dugo versus Heaney. I picked Go Dugo in his last fight as the dog, right? Not as confident in this fight, him versus Heaney. Not really confident in Heaney as well. This is probably going to be a pass for me, right? A dog or pass for me, right, in this fight. Whoever the dog when this fight drop, I may end up taking them. I guess I would lean, Heaney, I guess, right? Extremely low confidence, right? Dog or pass. All right, in this next fight, which I think is going to be one of the best fights on the card, we got T'Challa versus Dossie. I picked both of these guys to win their last fight as underdogs, right? Kind of hate that they got to fight one another right now. I think this is going to be a pretty good fight. I think Dossie may have the advantage if it hits the ground. I think striking is what. T'Challa may be slightly the more technical striker, but I think Dossie is the more dangerous fighter in this, right? He's relentless, and I'm going to lean on that relentlessness of DWCS to take this fight, right? But this is a low confidence pick, not because these fighters are bad, because both these fighters are good, right? I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I think the best bet in this would be the fight not to go the distance, because I think either guy has finishing ability, right? But DWCS, relentlessness, his aggressiveness, man, he a dog, man. And I'm going to go with DWCS in that fight. I'm excited to watch that one, right? We got Dwight Joseph in this this next fight. We got Dwight Joseph versus Adesanya. I picked against Adesanya in his last fight, right? I took the underdog, and he ended up stopping him by submission in the second round. I picked with Dwight Joseph in his fight, and he ended up stopping his guy in the third round. Dwight Joseph had, a pretty competitive fight before he got the stoppage. Adesanya pretty much dominated his guy. Both were the favorite in their fight. Adesanya was a slight favorite, but he pretty much dominated this guy, right, in ways that I didn't think that he would. I was a little underwhelmed by Dwight Joseph's win. TWTea, he knocked the guy out with a flying knee. I know, that was cool as hell. That was cool. I like the end result. But it was a little underwhelming leading up until the knockout, right? I think this fight does go the distance. I don't think Adesanya will be able to submit Dwight Joseph, even if he's able to take him down, which I think he'll be able to mix up his takedowns and take him down a little bit. Adesanya nor Dwight Joseph are like the greatest strikers in the world, but they both can strike. I think they really skill for skill about what and what. Dwight Joseph is more experienced as well, right? So he has that on his side. But I think, and they both are pretty athletic, right? Dwight Joseph is the older athlete. I really think the best bet in this fight is to go the distance. But if I had to pick, this would probably be a dog or pass. If Adesanya is the dog, then I'm going to take Adesanya for sure, right? So this would be a dog or pass for me. Best bet, I think this fight goes the distance. I would say, Adesanya, with the value, if he's the dog. If Dwight Joseph is a dog, then, bet-wise, you could very well play him as well. If you're asking me to pick a side, my heart is telling me Dwight Joseph, right? But I feel like Adesanya may be able to get some takedowns, right? Get the takedown. So lean Adesanya for the win. And his name is probably Adesanya. Well, I'm over here calling him the style bender and whatnot. So my bad about that, right? But slight lean Adesanya. And I'm almost sure that I won't be betting these fights, right? But I'm going to give y'all my picks on them anyway. Kamaru versus Marquay, right? Maybe we get Kamaru, as a dog. Marquay has fought absolutely nobody. Now, Kamaru has about 3 or 4 pretty good fights on his record, right? That would explain his 5-3-1 record. I think he's fought the more extensive competition, right? So I would lean Kamaru, right? In that last fight, that 2-1 guy and that 2-0 guy, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'm not even finna waste my time with that. I'm not betting it. I'm not even go look at it. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not messing with that fight. 2-0, 2-1. One of the guys coming off a loss. How did he even make the card coming off a loss with only 3 fights? But I digress. All right, just give y'all a recap of all the picks that I made. We got Ochimi, low confidence, Mbele, Esperanza, Nene, Babley, Heaney, DWCS, Oshimi, and Kamaru, right? Oshimi in the main event, he's going to be in a tough fight against a tough fighter. That's really like a pick 'em if you're asking me, right? You got the Bailey. I think he may end up being the dog if you're going off Tapology, right? But I think he should be the favorite. I like his striking game, right? Esperanza, I told you I think he'll beast. Nene and Babley, I think that's going to be the ship. Heaney is a low confidence for me. DWCS, he's going to be in a great fight as well. He's fighting a good opponent in T'Challa, right? And Adesanya is in a good fight as well. And Kamaru, I'm probably not going to bet that fight, right? But all right, let's get on. Let's move on to this UFC. Let's get on to the get on. All right, and just to give y'all my top picks because I don't have odds for this just yet, right? We got the Beasley, Esperanza, Nene, and Babley. Not really sure what it's going to be worth, right? All of those are probably going to be favorites, right? They shouldn't be too high of favorites, right? But they all probably will be favorites. My dog pick is maybe DWCS, and maybe he's a favorite too, right? If I was going to take a dog in this, it would probably be, fading Oshimi in that main event, right? But that's low confidence as well. But these are my top picks for the PFL Africa card. All right, so instead of giving y'all the UFC in this video too, I'm going to just do the Dana White Contender Series, and I'm going to do the PFL picks, right? I'm going to put the Dana White Contender Series pick back up on the screen for a second just to refresh your memory, right? We just went through the PFL picks. You can scroll back a little bit to see my PFL top picks and my winners, right? So I'm going to do UFC and boxing together this week. Not a whole lot of boxing, but that's all I got for y'all, man. Dana White Contender Series, PFL picks, Ken Hardaway, Southern T. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love, right? And I got each of the picks right at the end of the video, right? So make sure you stay to the end.